Are you as sick as I am about this topic? Here I am with another, but penultimate. Everything you wanted to know and didn't about Project 2025. And as we get closer to Sunday and the potential collapse of this app, I just want to remind you, you can find all of my bookish videos on YouTube under Irreverent Reader. I also have written reviews on Goodreads under the same name. And I'm also on Blue Sky under Irreverent Reader 13. I hope I will see you guys there, because I will miss you. Today, I'm going to be addressing trade and the US Treasury. As we all know, Trump is super tariff happy. The long and short of it is that Trump wants to pass the United States Reciprocal Trade Act. He tried to do it in 2019, but was unsuccessful. Under this act, the president would have the authority to bring any American trading partner that is currently applying higher non-reciprocal tariffs to the negotiating table. Then if that trading partner refused to lower tariffs to the US levels, the president would have the authority to raise those US tariffs to match or mirror the foreign party's tariffs. The main target in all of this is, of course, China. They want to expand tariffs to all Chinese products and increase them to the level that will block out made in China products entirely. But this includes pharmaceuticals, chips, rare earth minerals, computer motherboards, flat screens, and military components. They just want to work to zero trade with China. And they cite their reason as being they're still pissed about COVID because they still believe that it escaped from a Chinese research laboratory. It goes on to say they want to provide tax incentives to pull manufacturing from China, prohibit Chinese social media apps, as we're seeing right here, prohibit Chinese investment in tech industries, prohibit pension funds from investing in Chinese stocks, and reducing or eliminating Chinese visas. As I said, they're still pissed about COVID. They want to hold China accountable for the COVID-19 virus, which, quote, almost certainly originated as a genetically engineered virus from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And then the other thing I found laughable in this trade part is, of course, they want to promote American exports. And the main thing they want to focus on is American food trade. A lot of foreign markets block American food due to sanitation measures. Given everything that's going on with the bird flu right now and previous outbreaks of listeria and E. coli, this is just to be expected. America has a food sanitation problem. But no, they just want to bully this right through. They're quoted as saying, if a product is safe enough for Americans, then it should be safe enough for European or Japanese consumers and vice versa. Surprisingly, the trade session was pretty short, so now we're moving on to the Treasury/Federal Reserve. As I think I've now stated in every video, they of course want to get rid of the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion within. But this one actually goes a step further. They are quoted as saying, identify every Treasury official who participated in DEI initiatives and interview him or her for the purpose of determining the scope and nature of these initiatives and to ensure that such initiatives are completely ended. Treat the participation in any critical race theory or DEI initiative without objecting on constitutional or moral grounds as a per se grounds for termination of employment. So yeah, that's where that's at. Moving on to taxes. Of course, they want to repeal all the tax increases on business from the Inflation Reduction Act. And including the excise taxes on drug manufacturers that compel them to comply with Medicare price controls. That means all those drugs that Biden just worked so hard on to lower the costs on could all be scrapped. I don't know about you, but I am personally affected by that. I have asthma. I take asthma medication. My inhaler without that is $300 and some. It's now down to $190, which is still not cheap, but at least is almost half the price. And of course, like all Republicans, they want the corporate income tax to be reduced all the way down to 18%. They specifically state that the corporate income tax is the most damaging tax in the US tax system, which is just because its primary economic burden falls on workers because capital is more mobile than labor. If that wasn't petty enough, they of course want to get rid of some non-business tax deductions and exemptions. These are a few that might concern you. The bicycle commuting expense exclusion, non-military moving expense deductions, and the miscellaneous itemized deductions. They want individual state and local tax deduction, which was temporarily capped at $10,000. That should be fully repealed. Hardly surprising, they want deductions related to educational expenses to be fully repealed. Of course, any energy efficiency tax credits, those are going to get the nix as well. And if this wasn't already exhausting enough, they want to reduce tax bias against wages by setting a meaningful cap no higher than $12,000 per year per full-time employee, or preferably lower, on untaxed benefits that employers can claim as deductions. You know, that was a lot to follow. What does that mean? It means that your benefits that you aren't taxed on, so health care, pensions, whatever else, you as the employee will only be able to receive $12,000 worth of untaxed benefits. Now, this doesn't count towards tax-deferred retirement account contributions. However, when you think about how expensive insurance plans are, medical insurance plans are, you're going to hit this number, or their preferably lower number, very quickly. It just means businesses are going to stop offering these benefits. They're going to start lopping them off left and right, because if they can't get deductions themselves for providing these for their employees, they're just not going to offer them anymore. And unlike Republicans want to argue, they're not going to increase wages just because benefits go away. You are just going to be at loss for this. And if that wasn't worrisome enough or frustrating enough, I'm going to leave you with this last one. They want to eliminate the FDIC. If you've ever walked into your bank and seen that little plaque on the door that says FDIC, that means your money is insured. If that bank gets robbed, if we go through another Great Depression, it doesn't matter. Your money is guaranteed by the federal government. And of course, that insurance has its limits. I think it's $250,000. But most of us aren't going to have to worry about being over that amount, of course. But what Project 2025 wants to do is it wants to go to free banking. That would mean there is no government assurance that your money is protected. And this is so dangerous. It is why the Great Depression was as damaging as it was. And if you are a student of history and you have seen where we are headed right now, history repeats itself. We had a pandemic. They also had a pandemic in 1918. And then there was a steady increase towards fascism. And then there was the Great Depression. While I'm by no means an expert of history or finance or whatever, I really truly believe that is where we're headed.